Hello friends, in the last video we looked at masculinity through an anthropological and evolutionary perspective and proved that it is an achieved status that is necessary for the integration and maturation of boys into responsible adulthood. Now we will dive deep into the 4 core masculine values that are essential to attain psychological wholeness for modern men. These values are curated after observing and studying the manhood ideals in different cultures and also other researchers that came out on this topic. By incorporating these values into your character, many of the complexities in your life would be eliminated and you will be walking the path of heroic manhood, which is the antidote to toxic masculinity. Like the last video, let's start with a small story. Among the East African tribe named Dodoth, there lived a boy called Atho. He was too lazy and used to spend most of his time inside home, eating and sleeping. He was an African Peter Pan who refused to grow up. When his friends joined elders in community service, cattle raiding and even war, Atho ignored his adult masculine responsibilities by indulging in homely comfort. There was a girl in the neighborhood called Zainab that Atho liked, and he had planned to marry her in the future. But one day while walking with her through the mountains, Atho's old friends who left him due to his laziness and passivity started mocking him. You think you can marry Zainab? You are a lazy, dependent, weak boy. You think yourself a man, but it is not so. All of them started laughing and Atho felt too insulted in front of the girl he loved. Growing up, he had seen his father holding his self-respect and honor as the greatest treasure in this world. Atho never saw anyone in the community disrespecting or insulting his father. He woke up in the wee hours when Atho was asleep and came back home after a whole day's struggle with food and fodder for the family. Atho would be asleep when his father came back. Therefore, he met and talked with his father very rarely. But after this insult from his friends, Atho spent one whole night without sleep, and before his father woke up for work, Atho left for the forest. Mustering up the manly courage that grew in his heart as a result of the insult, Atho went on a successful cattle raid. After various adventures and mishaps, he finally managed to kill an enemy, an act that enabled him to acquire a fat ox. Full of pride, he immediately slaughtered his prize catch as an offering to the tribe. Before this crowning success, he was a mere boy in the eyes of his friends and family, but afterwards, having procured meat, he became a man in local reckoning and was treated as such. He was permitted to marry Zainab and to begin a family because he had produced. His work made him a man. Like Atho in this story, many men today are Peter Pans who have totally abandoned their responsibilities and are wasting their youthful energy following short-term gratifications. Playing video games, watching funny reels, porn and other random videos in social media, they remain as passive consumers instead of becoming the backbone of society as active providers. As Edward Abbey wrote, in the modern techno-industrial culture, it is possible to proceed from infancy into senility without ever knowing manhood. Many of these men will remain the same as there are no initiation rituals for manhood, and also due to the fact that pursuing short-term pleasures has become the norm of our society. In this complex time of too much comfort and passivity, which is silently dragging us into mediocrity, how can we become a responsible and disciplined man who contributes to society's well-being? Is there a roadmap to heroic manhood? What are the key masculine values that a modern man should integrate deeply into his soul? Let's see. Number 1. As most of you might have guessed, the fundamental value that is required to be a real man has not changed much from our primitive ancestors, and it is strength. Both physical and mental strength and toughness is necessary to feel the masculine essence that is inherent within us. Any man who wants to activate his masculine genetic code must visit gym or do something that's physically demanding. During a session of HIIT or high intensity training, testosterone, the male sex hormone, skyrockets in our body. It will remain high even for 1 hour after the session is over. During these moments of intense training, as a result of testosterone release, our energy, aggression and core strength increases, and it gets directly converted into mental toughness and well-being. Furthermore, while striving towards our valued goals in life, a man must face the obstacles and failures directly, responsibly and forthrightly. As said in some of my earlier videos, only by suffering hardships and dangers in service to our values and goals that we can grow thick skin. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, you say it's unfortunate that this has happened to me. No, it's fortunate that this has happened and I have remained unarmed by it, not shattered by the present or frightened of the future. It could have happened to anyone, but not everyone could have remained unarmed by it. All men alive today, including you and me, descended from ancestors who for uncounted thousands of generations succeeded in the intense competitions for survival and resources, and as a result became someone's grandfather. They were survival of the fittest. Jonathan Gottschall wrote in his important work about the science of aggression, violence and masculine competition. As in prison, strength equals respect in its most basic dimension. When you are strong, guys don't mess with you. Exploiters or bullies like their victims meek and weak. Young men want to look good, but they are also building up an arsenal of deterrence. Muscle is a bold advertisement. I am not a rabbit. I am not food. Today's society claims that men must suppress their aggression, competition and other masculine traits. These are toxic and therefore must be abandoned. But in reality, aggression, competition and even physical violence in some rare situations are morally neutral. They become good or bad based on for what purpose we are using it. If a man uses his virility and strength to rob the necklace of a woman walking alone or to steal money from the bank, then that is bad and toxic. But if the same aggression and assertiveness is used to stop the man who is robbing the necklace or the bank robber, then that is good. This is why I have put forth heroic masculinity or responsible masculinity as an antidote to toxic masculinity. The second most important masculine trait is autonomy, absolute autonomy or independence. The foundational goal our ancestors achieved through hard and painful initiation ritual was providing the autonomy to a man and freeing him from his childish dependency on his parents and family. It is easy and comfortable to remain in the childish cocoons of our home and parental care. But to develop true maturity and wisdom, a man must leave his home, visit faraway places and obtain a respectable position for himself in society. Nothing should make us vulnerable, afraid or weak. To achieve this, we should be truthful and transparent as a piece of glass. Fear conquers our soul when we have something to hide. What defines a self-respecting and powerful man is what he does when no one is watching. What you do when you are alone defines your self-image about yourself. If you waste your time scrolling through social media, drink alcohol to kill boredom or watch porn to gain short-term pleasures during these solitary moments, then subconsciously you will maintain a bad self-image about yourself. Slowly these subconscious feelings will reflect in your behavior or actions unknowingly, and fear will creep inside your heart. To become a strong and complete man, you should conquer your solitary moments and use it to propel your life forward. Use that time to develop your skills, follow your passion, to create lasting and meaningful relationships. Secondly, never lie. Do what you say and say what you do. Just following these two steps in itself will make you a self-respecting man of absolute independence. As David Gilmore wrote, a man can do nothing if his hands are tied. If he is going to hunt dangerous game and like Odysseus save his family, he needs absolute freedom of movement. Equally important as economic resourcefulness is the underlying appeal to independent action as the starting point of manly self-identity. To enter upon the road to manhood, a man must travel light and be free to improvise and to respond unencumbered to challenge. He must have a moral captaincy. Personal autonomy is the goal for each and every man. Without it, his defensive posture collapses. His strategic mobility is lost, exposing his family to ruin. Third most important value for a man is his competence. All of us should have a passion or purpose, and we should plan our life in such a way that we are monomaniacally focused on that single thing. It is our competence that is going to bring us glory and respect in society. I believe that the Ridley Scott movie Gladiator provides a perfect example of heroic manhood that all of us should integrate into our soul as a great masculine ideal. Maximus in that movie is strong, competent and generous. As general of the army of Rome, he is respected by each and every soldier. When he roars that what we do in life echoes in eternity, soldiers stand in attention and greet him saying strength and honor. Even when he becomes a gladiator, people stand up when he enters the room. Women jostle through the crowd to touch him. Children cry out his name with awe. What provides this edge for Maximus is the fact that he is a competent soldier, dedicated his life in service to Rome, and has conquered numerous dangers and wars to extend the greatness of his country. But when he is alone in his room, he prays, "Blessed Father, watch over my wife and son with a ready sword. Whisper to them, I live only to hold them again, for all else is dust and air. Ancestors, I honor you and will try to live with the dignity you have taught me." What gives meaning to each breath Maximus takes is his love for his wife and son. He lives for them and is ready to do anything, even to die for them. Whatever temporary distractions or pleasures that present itself in front of him cannot deter him from his strong virtues and purpose. When the king's daughter makes sexual advances after saying that I still remember you in my prayers, Maximus reminds her about the demised husband and tells that I hear you have a son My son is also nearly 8 years old. This instance reminds me of a situation in Swami Vivekananda's life. He was a great Indian sage who avowed celibacy for life. But while he was addressing a crowd in United States, a woman who attended many of his speeches decided to open up about her feelings for him. After the speech, when he was coming down from the podium, she went in front of him, and moments before she could speak her heart out, he respectfully held his hands in a praying posture and called her Amma, that is mother. A key aspect of a strong man's character is his dedication to his virtues, and these heroic men are ready even to choose death to protect the sanctity and truthfulness of it. As David Dida writes, the core of your life is your purpose. Everything in your life, from your diet to your career, must be aligned with your purpose if you are to act with coherence and integrity in the world. If you know your purpose, your deepest desire, then the secret of success is to discipline your life so that you support your deepest purpose and minimize distractions and detours. The final aspect that is necessary to be a heroic man is honor. By becoming strong, autonomous and competent, what a man attains is a honorable and respectable position in society. If we speak honestly from the bottom of our hearts, what we as men are striving for is respect. We need to feel respected and valued in society as an important and contributing citizen who is necessary for the forward momentum and growth of our culture. The first key step to be honorable in our community is to give respect to others. As that ancient quote goes, give respect and take respect. Some people misidentify respect with attention and behave in clownish ways to attract attention from others. We see this in YouTube and other social media sites where people do whatever they can to attract attention. But this negative attention and the money they make from it is meaningless, as it reduces their value, respect and honor as a heroic masculine figure. Secondly, to be honorable, a man must stay strong to his words. He should never promise or commit to anything that he cannot fulfill. A man who breaks his promise, lies or doesn't keep his word is a liability to the community. Therefore, Mahatma Gandhi wrote, "Personally, I hold that a man who deliberately and intelligently takes a pledge and then breaks it forfeits his manhood." From time immemorial, we have seen that real men never tolerate disrespect from anyone. A perfect example is the duels, which was practiced among men as a ritual to restore one's honor for centuries. It is an arranged engagement in combat between two people with matched weapons. During 17th and 18th century and earlier, duels were mostly single combats fought with swords. But beginning in the late 18th century in England, duels were more commonly fought using pistols. By dueling, a man demonstrates in a moment of intense risk that he would literally fight to death anyone who crossed with him or disrespected him. And this gave other men excellent reason not to cross with him. Even in today's world, men should maintain similar mindset and never take disrespect from anyone. As responsible adults, no one is there to speak for our own behalf except ourselves. And it is the ethical responsibility of a self-respecting individual to take real care of himself and also to be assertive. As Shakespeare wrote in his classic tragedy Julius Caesar, "I love the name of honor more than I fear death." Yes, a cowardly and fearful life is worse than death, and to be a heroic man, we should put ourselves first, respect ourselves, fulfill our purpose in life, and also live a life of strong virtues. Such a man is on the path towards heroic manhood, and he is the antithesis of toxic masculinity. Subscribe to our channel for more similar videos. Do you feel that there are other masculine values necessary for heroic manhood? Comment below. Thank you.